So I'm going to make a character, and this is going to be my zombie frog that I enjoyed this morning. So here is the start of my zombie frog. But as I'm doing this, it works a little bit better if the back leg and the back arm are a different color. So as the arms and legs move, we can get a sense of what is the front leg, what is the back leg. And it's also nice if, being a zombie, he has a red eye. Because, it just fits with the whole motif. So now I'm going to take this object that I've created and convert this into a symbol. So I highlight everything and hit F8 on the keyboard. And we'll give it a name, Zombie Kermit. And now, Zombie Kermit, I could just animate him across the stage. Because he's a symbol, if I right-click on him and choose Create Motion Tween, I need to stretch it out because zombies just don't move that fast. We're not doing the modern, fast, smart zombies. This is going to be a slow, lumbering zombie frog that moves across my stage. And I can just move him across the stage like that. And now we can see he moves. So if I test my movie, we can see he's moving, but his arms and legs aren't moving. So that's not really providing a lot of animation satisfaction. So it's going to take a little bit of work to bring him to a better state. So to do that, I am going to switch to symbol editing mode by double-clicking on him. So if I double-click on him, we can see that his tweened timeline went away. We're now down to frame 1. And up at the top of the screen, we'll see it says Zombie Kermit, then Scene 1. So we can see we're inside that symbol. We're no longer on the main timeline. Now, to animate this, I am going to use onion skinning, and I am going to then do frame-by-frame animation because I'm just going to repaint him as we go to the different frames so that I can bring him to life. Now, the tricky part on this is maintaining and being able to select the colors as I go from each frame. So there are different strategies to use, but I'm first just going to select my green color, and I'll just paint him in bright green first and then go back, do the dark green, and add in the red to it as a way to try and be quick with the process. So if I hit F7 with onion skinning turned on, we can see the ghosting of that previous frame, and now it's waiting for me to paint this next layer. So now at this point I'm going to and I'll come back and paint the other arm and leg in a moment. So we can hit F7 again. Now if I go back and switch colors, And now I can turn off onion skinning. And that's going to give me some nice movement here. And I think I might extend each one of these frames out. So each frame, it's 3 frames per pose. So it gives me a little bit of jerkiness to it, but also slows down the overall movement. And now that I've done that, I can go back to my main timeline. And we can see here he is. And again, you don't get to see his movement until we test movie. So until I go under control and choose test movie or command enter or command return, we do not see him move. But once I do, you can see now he's stumbling his way across the stage like a good zombie. So you might have seen Zombie Kermit at the pub crawl over the weekend in Minneapolis. But he's working out pretty nicely for me here. So now that I have this occurring, I have that nested timeline inside that main timeline. So that's the first step in really starting to make your animations become much more lively, but using Flash. So I don't have to hand draw each frame of my zombie frog as he moves across the stage. Because if I had to draw each one of those, I would have had to do 50 drawings. Instead, I did 4. I think 4 instead of 50 is a nice way of being much more economical with your time. And then you can create a very rich and engaging animation that goes along with it. The good part, though, being this is a symbol, is I can then go into my library and I can now bring out another copy of my Kermit, and maybe he's walking in the opposite direction. So my first step is I'm going to transform him and flip him horizontal. So now he's coming from this side. He's further back in space, so I am going to shrink him down a little bit. So now he's a little bit smaller. Now I can turn and choose Create Motion Tween. Go to the end, pull him off the stage. And his tween, because he's further away, it actually will take longer for him to get across to cover that distance, because in effect, being further away, we're seeing a wider distance visually. So now if I test that movie, we can see. Now the problem here, we can see that one is now on top of the other one. So when they cross, it does cause a little bit of difficulty because the wrong one is on top. But that's easily rectified or changed by just grabbing the layer and adjusting the layer stacking order. So now we put the other one down at the bottom, like that. We can even now take this back zombie and modify his properties, because he has all these properties over here you can play with. So we could play with his color. So we could say that his color is going to be under brightness. He's going to be darker because he's further away in space. So we can see he's getting darker there. And I can go to that starting keyframe and modify it. So he's dark here. Oh, shoot, I just modified. I guess I didn't modify the wrong one. It's just at the wrong point in time, my layers. So now he's here. And perhaps he's not even going in a straight line. Perhaps as he moves across the stage to the very end, I can also tween his size. So you can see he goes from bigger to smaller, so it actually appears he's moving away from us in space. Which, if I wanted to hand draw each drawing and make each drawing get smaller and smaller and smaller as I went, that would really suck after a while. But I can let Flash do the heavy lifting for me here, so now we can see he's getting smaller in space. So now if I test this movie again, we'll see that they're crossing. So it's starting to create an almost spatial depth in my picture because I have a change in scale both with the back zombie Kermit, but also the fact that the second one is smaller to begin with. We're starting to get this illusion of three-dimensional space with very little effort on our part, so to speak, because I just animated 4 frames. and then brought it to life.